ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ। ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ। ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੁਸੀ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੁਸੀ ਵੀ ਸਚ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। Thank you, Sangat ji, for joining the Sunday Sangat of the Divine Light Vichar discourse session. Before I start the session today, before I get into the discourse, a massive thank you to my brother Zakaria ji for the introductions, and a massive, massive thank you to Nicola for leading the Simran. This is what the Sangat's about, Sangat ji. This is what it's about. The Sangat is about learning and progressing together. Learning and progressing together. This is the place where we should all make our mistakes. It's from this Sangat we make the mistakes and we progress and learn. There should be no fear, there should be no nervousness when entering the Sangat. This is an open, judgment-free space for all of us. So if any of you guys would like to lead the Simran, the Kirtan, just get into contact with any of us, any one of us, Amardeep, James, Zakaria ji, any of us. This is the place to learn and grow together and step by step take our and start our journey towards the divine. So a massive thank you to Nicola and Zakaria ji for the introductions. To enter the Sangha itself, Sangat ji, is all by the divine will. It's all the divine's doing. We cannot enter the Sangat through our own will. Gurbani says, Vinapagga satsang na labbe. Without great good fortune, which has been bestowed upon us by the divine, we cannot find the Sangat and enter the Sangat. So every time we come into the Sangat, just see it as a blessing of the divine. See it as a blessing of the divine and an opportunity for us to grow and learn together. In the Mool Mantar, we say Gur Prasad, with the blessings of the divine, with the Guru's Kirpa, the Guru's blessings, Gur Prasad. And it is with these divine blessings, Sangat ji, that we will start this path of spirituality and eventually achieve that divine union and that bliss that we're all searching for. So before we jump into today's discourse, let's take a minute, 2 minutes, just to internally pray and beg that divine for this bliss that we are all looking for the remainder of this session today and throughout the week. So let's take that moment now. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sangat Ji, so today's discourse is going to be on the power of the Sangat. We hear all the time, we are as good as the company we keep. So today we're going to delve a little bit more into the Sangat and why it's so important on this spiritual journey. So throughout our discourse, you always hear the word Sangat comes up over and over and over again. So much emphasis has been placed on this word and the Sangat itself. And it's through the Sangat that we can fully transform ourselves and make long-lasting changes. So throughout this session, Sangatji, I would like to expand and talk about what the Sangat is and why it is so important to our spirituality. We'll look at some of the scriptures, we'll look at some of the life events of the pious souls in order for us to understand this concept of Sangat and how it can help us and benefit us. So if we turn to the scriptures, we're informed that the home of the divine is found in the heart of the Sangat. The home of the divine is found in the heart of the Sangat. Ancient pious soul and a great saint, a great sage known as Narad Muni, posed this question to the divine. Narad Muni was desperate to find the true home of the divine. He was a great saint in the age of Satyajug, which is the first era of time. So there's four eras of time, Sangatji. The first Satyajug, Dwapar, Treta, and Kaljug. Kaljug is the era we're currently living in, and the most unstable in terms of spirituality. Satyajug, the first era of time. Narad Muni was a great saint, and he was the saint that provided the spiritual instruction and guidance to the likes of the great Bhagat Dhruv and Bhagat Prahladaji, whose stories are mentioned throughout Gurbani. So Narad Muni was in desperate search to find the home of the divine. He prayed earnestly day and night, asking and begging the divine over and over, asking the divine where the divine's true abode is. Narad Muni is saying, I went to where Lord Shiva is, and I still couldn't find you there. I visited where Lord Brahma is, and you weren't there either. I went to the special places where Lord Indra resides, but you weren't permanently there either. Narad Muni is asking the divine, where is your permanent residence, O my beloved? Narad Muni prayed to the divine, begging over and over for this wisdom. And eventually, the divine responded to his devoted saint and answered his prayers. And this conversation between the divine and Narad Muni has been written by Bhai Gurdas Ji, a Sikh scholar, in his writings. Bhai Gurdas Ji says, Nij kar mero ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਨਾਰਦ ਮੁਨ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ mero ਨਿਜ ਰੂਪ ਹੈ. Lord Bhagwan tells Sage Narad, O dear devotee, congregation of Guru conscious and true people is my abode. In their company you find my true image. ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ मेरो ਮਾਤਾ ਪਿਤਾ ਓ ਕਟੰਬ ਸਖਾ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ मेरो ਸੁਤ ਸ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਟ ਅਨੂਪ ਹੈ. Company of God-like people are my friends and family. The company of the true is my beloved, is my beautiful and supreme child. ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ ਸਰਬ ਨਿਧਾਨ ਪ੍ਰਾਣ ਜੀਵਨ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ ਨਿਜ ਪਦ ਸੇਵਾ ਦੀਪ ਧੂਪ ਹੈ. Congregation is a treasure house of all comforts and happiness. It is my life support. Congregation of true people is our means of gaining higher spiritual status. The Sadhu Sangat is the place in which I am worshipped. Sadhu Sangha, Rang Rasa Bhog Sukh Sahaj Mai, Sadhu Sangha Soba At Upama O Upaha. Company of Guru beloveds is a place of relishing the ecstasy of meditation and where we enjoy spiritual peace. The glory of the holy congregation is beyond praise. It is unique and great. So, Sangatji, firstly, the divine advises Narad Muni that the Sadhu Sangat is where the divine lives, and this is their true home. The Sadhu Sangat is the true home of the divine. The image of the divine is found within the Sadhu Sangat. And when we enter a blessed Sangat, when we are lucky enough to find those precious divine-oriented souls, we automatically start reflecting on the divine. We start to feel that warmth, that love of the divine. However, Sangatji, those that are full of doubt and deluded by this illusion of Maya will only project negativity, and we will start to feel the opposite. Something I love to pay attention to is how I feel after having a conversation with someone. If you're having a conversation with someone and you feel light, uplifted, happy, that is a sign that this is a good person or a person you should spend more time with. If you feel drained, negative, you start to slander, gossip, this is a sign that you should perhaps stay away from that person. So Sangat is everything. It will make you or it will break you. And the first thing to realize is that divine always lives in the hearts and minds of the pious souls. They're never separated from the divine, and the divine is not separated from them. However, the divine lives and exists everywhere and in everything. The divine does not live in the heart and mind of the cynical or the slanderer, where we commit actions that push us away from our spiritual origin. So something to reflect on, Sangatji, is the divine living within us? Or are we sitting in the house of Maya? Are we reflecting those divine Are we reflecting those divine virtues, or are we sitting in the house of Maya and projecting that negativity upon everyone? A way to think of it is, Sangaji, is like this. When someone special is coming to our house, or someone that we respect is coming to our house, we'll make sure that the whole house is spick and span. We prepare the best food and make sure everything in the house is set for their arrival. In the same way, if we want the divine to resonate from within us and to sit inside our spiritual home, we have to prepare ourselves in this way. If we take a wick from a lamp, for instance, Sangatji, and we light that wick with a flame, the wick will light for a very short amount of time, and then it will just burn out. But if we also add oil to that lamp, the fuel from the oil will enable the lamp to be lit for a significantly longer time. And in the same way, if we make these spiritual efforts without the Sangat, we can easily burn out and lose motivation quickly. But with the power of the Sangat, the fuel, our spirituality will not only be sustained, but it will start to thrive. Therefore, Sangatji, the first thing to realize is that the divine lives in the home of those who have centered themselves around the divine and live for the divine. They are the walking, talking, breathing image of the divine. Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, Har har jan doye ek hai, beb vichar kach nahe, jalte upjat rang jo, jal hi bikhai samahe. Har har jan doye ek hai. There's no difference between the Har, the Lord, and the Har Jan, the servant of the Lord. Bib vichar kach nahe, jalte upjat rang jo. Just as the wave of water rises and then merges within the water, this is the state of the Har and the Har Jan. So many times, Sangatji, we see the saints, the pious souls, and through their aura alone, we remember Guru Nanak Dev Ji. We might see a devoted Christian and remember Jesus. We might see a devoted Muslim and remember the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. Those great pious souls become our inspiration, and automatically through their aura, we start to connect to the divine. Secondly, Sangatji, the divine answers that Sad Sangat is the true family, is the divine's true family. The Sad Sangat is the mother and the father, and it gives birth to the divine in our hearts. The Sad Sangat is the true friend and the support. That friend who is always there for you and will guide you through your spiritual journey and help you break through the world of Maya that we are all entangled in. But that true being in the Sad Sangat would help us break through. The Gurbani indicates that through this relationship with the Sad Sangat, with the Sata Sangat, we can make true, lasting change. People influence us every single day. But does their influence inspire us or does it sap our energy? It's something to reflect on, Sangatji. Do they serve as a positive role model or a negative influence? Do they want what's best for you, or are they just out for themselves? Like we said at the start, the Sangat we keep will literally make us or it will break us. And again, pay attention to how you feel after you've had a conversation with someone. Do you feel uplifted or do you feel frustrated, negative? The mind is like clay, Sangatji. It's like clay. It doesn't discriminate between who is molding it. Whoever picks it up can change the shape of it. In the same way, whichever Sangat you keep will mold your mind in a shape similar to theirs. So bear this in mind, Sangatji. Thirdly, the divine tells Narad Muni that all we desire is obtained through the Sad Sangat, both worldly and physically. The Sad Sangat becomes one family who look out, care, and share with one another, like we do in this forum, Sangatji. But through the Sad Sangat, our real treasure, the real treasure of this life is obtained. And what treasure is this? Guru Nanak Dev Ji in the Shri Japji Sahib refers to these treasures and says, Mat vich ratan jawahar manak, je ek gur ki sikh suni. Within the mind, there are gems, jewels, rubies. Mat vich ratan jawahar manak. If only je ek gur ki sikh suni. If you listen to even one teaching of the Guru. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, These are the treasures, these rubies, these gems, these jewels. They are the treasures of meditation, the treasures of seva, serving, selfless service, and the treasures of humility and compassion, forgiveness, tolerance. These virtues are so precious and rare, Sangatji, and are not freely available to all, because these are the blessings and fruits that only come through the Sad Sangat and the Kirpa, the grace of the divine. And another thing to notice, Sangatji, of the Shabad, Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Je ek gur ki sikh suni. If only you listen to one teaching of the Guru, of the divine. It's the beginning of the year, and we are often making New Year's resolutions. We make tons of them. We want to completely change ourselves. But Sangatji, these changes are hard to sustain. Sometimes, including myself in the past, we make 10 changes, 15 changes, and it's the 7th of January, a week in, and we're back to how we were on the 31st. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is giving us a method here. Je ek gur ki sikh suni. Just change one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Slowly, 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 slowly. We'll reach our goal, but one thing at a time. It's extremely hard for humans to multitask, to fully focus on two things at once. Focus on one thing in your life, Sangatji. Change that one thing first, then move on and then build upon it. This is how we can build long-lasting change. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that hidden within us are these jewels. And when we spend time with pious souls, they burn through the ego that is within us, and leave you with these positive traits in exchange. And this process takes time and may be challenging. But at the end, what was once an old and decaying pot has now been transformed into a beautiful vase with some beautiful fragrances. When we were younger, Sangatji, we most likely were warned by our parents to be careful of whom we spend our time with. And they said this in reference to the influence our friends and family could have upon us. And in addition to the way people would judge us in accordance to our friends and family. And in the spiritual world, where we have so many things that we are plagued with, totally colored in the love of Maya, we spend our days in deceit, cheating ourselves and others. But in the Sadhu Sangatji, with the grace of the divine, with that Gur Prasad, we are overcome by the fragrance of the saints. When someone comes into the Sadhu Sangat, regardless of their past, they are no longer that thief, that cheat, that fraudster, and they become a member of the Sadhu Sangat. Guru Arjan Dev Ji in Sukhmani Sahib says, Sadhu Sang Papa Malakova. In the company of the holy, the filth of sin is washed away. Sadhu Sang Papa Malakova. So Sangatji, let's travel back in time to the time of the fifth Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and to a beautiful Sakhi on the importance of Sangat. So it was the thick of night, in the stillness of time. Everyone was asleep in the village, but lurking in the fields was a notorious thief by the name of Bidhi Chand. So notorious was this thief that he had plundered and ruined many a town. But no one knew anything of him. He was a complete shadow that disappeared in the thickness of night. Bidhi Chand saw his opportunity. This time he was out to steal the cattle from the farm. He ran to the cattle, untied them and started making his getaway. But the village was awakened. He ran to the cattle and ran away with them. In fear, he ran with his loot, but was being chased by the whole village, who at this point were armed to the teeth. Running and running, he came across a man covered in a blanket. This man was a beloved Sikh of the Guru, who had awoken in the middle of the night and was absorbed in the Shabad Mantar. Waheguru, Waheguru, Waheguru. Bidhi Chand ran into him. O Sikh of the Guru, I've heard the Guru protects all. I'm in deep, deep trouble. Please protect me. The saintly soul spoke softly and said to Bidhi Chand, Son, come and sit with me and join me in repeating the mantra of Waheguru. Repeat this mantra with me and after me. And together we will remember the divine in harmony. As it was, both started to recite the Shabad mantra. By this time, the villagers had caught up and asked the saint, Oh dear saint, we were chasing after a thief, but the trail has gone cold. He has stolen our cattle and all of our stuff. But he's nowhere to be seen. Have you seen him? The saint turned and said, There's no thief here, just me and my blessed companion in this Sadhu Sangat, meditating upon the one divine. However, if you need cattle, just take these cows from here. There's no thief here. The villagers, defeated, but accepted the request of the saint and took the cattle and headed back to their village. You see, anyone who comes into the Sadhu Sangat has the protection of the divine. And a Shabad from the Sukhmani Sahib, from Guru Arjan Dev Ji, explains this to us beautifully. Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, Sad sang mukh ujjal hot, sad ke sang mukh ujjal hot. In the company of the holy, one's face becomes radiant. Sad sang mal sagli khot, sad ke sang mitay abhiman, sad ke sang pragtay sugyan, sad ke sang bujjay prabh nera, ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ ਸਭ ਹੋਤ ਨਿਬੇਰਾ ਸਾਧ ਕੈ ਸੰਗ ਪਾਏ ਨਾਮ ਰਤਨ ਸਾਧ ਕੈ ਸੰਗ ਕੂਪਰ ਜਤਨ ਸਾਧ ਕੀ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਬਰਨੈ ਕੌਣ ਪਰਾਨੀ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਧ ਕੀ ਸੋਭਾ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਮਾਹੇ ਸਮਾਨੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ ਮਲ ਸਗਲੀ ਖੋਤ in the company of the holy all filth is removed. Sadh ke sang mite abhiman. In the company of the holy, egotism is eliminated. Sadh ke sang pragtay sugyan. In the company of the holy, spiritual wisdom is revealed. Sadh ke sang bujjay prabhnera. In the company of the holy, God is understood to be near at hand. Sadh sang sab hot nibera. In the company of the holy, all conflicts are settled. Sadh ke sang paye naam ratan. In the company of the holy, one obtains the jewel of the Naam. Sadh ke sang ukupar jatan. In the company of the holy, one's efforts are directed towards the one divine. Sadh ki mahima barna kaun prani. What can we mere mortals speak of the glorious praises of the holy? Nanak sadh ki sobha prabh mahe samani. O Nanak, the glory of the holy people merges into God. So Sangat Ji, the saint then took Bidhi Chand to the fifth Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And upon gazing on the great Guru, any saint, any sense of his former life was completely destroyed in that one instance. From being a thief, that one encounter with the Sadh Sangat transformed his life completely. And Sangatji, we too can have that change if we truly want the process of change to occur. If we truly want something more than just this life and body, then this change can occur within the Sadh Sangat. The true essence of the Sangat is when we too carry that fragrance of the Sangat. We spend time with those blessed saints and we act on their words and instructions. And by acting on their words and their instructions, that divine fragrance will start to blossom. A king is only known as a king if he has a kingdom to govern. In the same way, a member of the Sangat is only recognized as one if they take on that quality of the Sangat. Baba Jaswant Singh Ji will always say it's not about just going to see the saint and visit the saint and being friends with them. The real Sangat starts from when you start acting on their message. When we start acting on the messages of the Guru, one by one, Je ek Gur ki Sikh suni, one by one adopting those messages from the Guru and the Divine. Fourthly, Sangat Ji, the Divine advises that you can travel far and wide, but you won't find anything just as beautiful as the Sadh Sangat. Imagine that love, the energy, the euphoria of those that have joined together in a resonance of the Divine, those completely at one and completely at peace. There's nothing that can compete with this, Sangat Ji, nothing whatsoever. So Sangat Ji, just as I finish, I would like to leave you with a shabad that contemplates on the Divine, the mantra, and the Sadh Sangat, written by the fifth Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Gond Mahalla Panjava, Naam Niranjan Neer Narayana. The name of the Immaculate Lord is the ambrosial water. Rasana Simrat Paap Bilayan Rahao. Chanting it with the tongue, sins are washed away. Narayan Sab Mahe Nivas. The Lord abides in everyone. Narayana Kata Kata Pragas. The Lord illuminates each and every heart. Narayana Kahte Nark Na Jaye. Chanting the Lord's name, one does not fall into hell. Narayana Sev Sagla Phala Pahe. Serving the Lord, all fruitful rewards are obtained. Narayana Mana Mahe Adar. Within my mind is the support of the Lord. Narayana Bohit Sansar. The Lord is the boat to cross over the world ocean. Narayana Kahat Jamapag Palayana. Chant the Lord's name, and the messenger of death will run away. Narayana Dantapane Dayana. The Lord breaks the teeth of Maya, the witch. Narayana Sad Sad Bakshind. The Lord is forever and ever the forgiver. Narayana Kine Sukh Anand. The Lord blesses us with peace and bliss. Narayana Pragat Kino Pratap. The Lord has revealed his glory. Narayan Sant ko mai baap. The Lord is the mother and father of his saint. Narayan Sad Sang Narayan. The Lord is in the Sad Sangat, the company of the holy. Barangbar Narayana Gayana. Time and time again I sing the Lord's praises. Basta agochar gur millahi. Meeting with the Guru, I have obtained and attained this incomprehensible object. Narayan ot Nanak Das Gahi. Slave Nanak has grasped the support of the Lord. Narayan Sad Sang Narayana. Barangbar Narayan Gayana. Bast agochar gur mil lahi. Nanak ot Narayan ot Nanak Das Gahi. So Sangat Ji, with this we have come to the end of the discourse. Remember, within the Sadhu Sangat Ji, we can make that long-lasting change that we are all looking for. We can take those steps to the divine. We can get rid of our previous bad karma, our bad habits, and we can progress on this path of spirituality. So Sangat Ji, with this, please forgive me for my many mistakes and continue to bless us all with this seva, with the Sangat, with the Simran. So Sangat Ji, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.